The ancient halls of the collective assembly stretched skyward, their crystalline spires catching the light of 3 suns in a dazzling display of power and permanence. Commander Elena Santos stood at the observation deck of Earth's diplomatic vessel, her dark eyes fixed on the spectacle below. After 15 years of preparation, humanity's petition for equal status within the collective would be heard. The assembly hall itself was a testament to the collective's technological superiority, or at least what they wanted others to believe was superiority. Massive anti-gravity platforms held thousands of delegates from hundreds of species, all arranged in perfect hierarchical order. The most ancient races occupied the highest tiers, while developing species, like humanity, were relegated to the bottom rings. Elena's hand tightened on the railing as she watched Earth's delegation enter through the lower gates. Ambassador Michael Chen led the small group, his posture straight and dignified despite the implicit humiliation of their assigned position. The collective's message was clear: know your place. Status update from the Artemis project, her neural implant whispered. Elena subvocalized her authorization, and data streamed across her consciousness. Deep beneath Europa's ice, humanity's greatest secret was nearing completion. The irony wasn't lost on her. While the collective deliberated on whether humans were advanced enough for equal status, they had already surpassed several of the Assembly's cornerstone technologies. The session elder's voice boomed through the chamber, enhanced by technologies the collective claimed were beyond human comprehension. The Assembly recognizes the petition of Species Designation 2749C, self-identified as humanity, for elevation to full member status. Elena watched as Ambassador Chen activated his presentation module. The holographic display showed humanity's achievements: the terraforming of Mars, the colonization of the Proxima Centauri system, the development of quantum neural interfaces, all carefully selected to demonstrate progress while concealing humanity's true capabilities. The elder's crystalline form shifted, refracting light in what Elena had learned to recognize as amusement. The Assembly has reviewed the petition. Species 2749C has shown adequate technological progress. However, we find concerning patterns in their social and political development. Chen's voice remained steady. Honorable Elder, humanity has maintained peace among our colonies for 50 years. Our resource distribution systems, peace achieved through primitive hierarchical structures, interrupted Delegate Zixtal of the Myriad Confluence, their tentacles rippling with what passed for disdain in their species. Your species still clings to concepts of individual nation-states rather than embracing true collective consciousness. Elena's neural implant pinged again. Hidden sensors were detecting unusual energy signatures from the Assembly's secure data networks. The Artemis project's quantum infiltration systems were working exactly as designed, siphoning data while the collective's leaders pontificated about human inadequacy. Furthermore, the Elder continued, our observations indicate your species continues to develop military capabilities beyond your approved technological level. This suggests a concerning lack of trust in the collective's protection. The data streaming to Elena's implant suddenly shifted. Her eyes widened slightly as classified files began decrypting in her neural buffer. The collective's protection was a carefully constructed lie. They deliberately kept developing species dependent, extracting resources and technology while maintaining the illusion of benevolent oversight. Chen's voice took on a subtle edge that only another human would notice. The collective's protection is, of course, appreciated. However, humanity believes in self-reliance as a path to self-reliance leads to chaos, the Elder declared. The Assembly's decision is final. Species 2749C's petition for elevation is denied. Furthermore, given the concerning patterns observed, the Assembly mandates increased oversight of human technological development. Elena watched Chen's face remain carefully neutral, even as her implant revealed the full scope of the collective's deception. They had done this dozens of times before, promising protection while systematically exploiting and suppressing species that showed too much potential. As the Earth delegation was dismissed, Alina opened a secure quantum channel to the Europa facility. The message was simple: initiate Protocol Prometheus. The collective had made their choice, believing they were maintaining their power structure. Instead, they had just authorized their own obsolescence. Humanity had spent the last 15 years preparing for exactly this outcome, developing technologies that the collective couldn't even imagine. Elena took one last look at the assembly hall before turning away. Let them believe they had put humanity in its place. Let them celebrate their supposed superiority. In the shadows of their arrogance, a revolution was about to begin. The quantum data continued streaming through her implant, each file revealing more of the collective's careful manipulation of lesser species. Alina smiled slightly. They had no idea that their greatest mistake wasn't denying humanity's petition. It was underestimating humanity's capacity to evolve beyond their control. As her ship prepared for departure, Alina reviewed the first reports from Protocol Prometheus. Across human space, hidden facilities were awakening. Ships that officially didn't exist were taking up station in quantum-massed orbits. Technologies that the collective believed impossible were coming online. The collective had just taught humanity an important lesson, just not the one they intended. They had proven that true advancement couldn't come through petitioning for equality. It had to be seized by those brave enough to defy an unjust order. The breaking point had arrived. Humanity's path forward was clear, and it led far beyond the collective's carefully constructed hierarchies. The revolution would begin not with a declaration of war, but with a simple truth. No species had the right to determine another's potential. Alina's ship entered FTL, leaving behind the glittering spires of the assembly. In its wake, quantum whispers began spreading through the collective's networks, carrying the seeds of their own transformation. The age of submission was over. The age of human innovation was about to begin. The sanctions came swiftly. Within days of humanity's failed petition, collective ships appeared at every major human trade route, their crystalline hulls gleaming with supposed invincibility. Their message was clear: comply or be isolated. Dr. Maya Patel stood in the heart of Europa Station, watching holographic displays track the collective's blockade formations. Around her, the massive underground facility hummed with activity, its quantum processors calculating possibilities that the collective insisted couldn't exist. They've established checkpoints at every approved FTL corridor, her assistant reported, neural interface streaming data across multiple screens. All human vessels are being subjected to safety inspections. Maya allowed herself a small smile. And the unapproved corridors, completely unmonitored. They still haven't detected the quantum wake signatures. The Phoenix Project had been Maya's life's work for the past decade. While the collective believed they had a monopoly on FTL travel through their carefully controlled hyperspace gates, humanity had discovered something far more elegant. The quantum slip drives didn't tear through space. They danced with it. A priority alert flashed across her neural feed. The collective was broadcasting new regulations across all channels. Maya's translation software decoded the flowery diplomatic language to its core message. Human technological development would now be directly supervised by collective observers. They're going to be disappointed when they arrive, she murmured, initiating Protocol Shadowfall. Across human space, research facilities began their disappearing act. Quantum camouflage fields activated, making entire complexes vanish from conventional detection. The technology had been inspired by deep-sea creatures on Earth, adapted to bend light and energy around objects in four-dimensional space. Her neural implant pinged with an incoming transmission from Commander Santos. Status report on Phase 2. The slip drive tests exceeded expectations, Maya responded. We've achieved stable quantum tunneling across interstellar distances. The collective's hyperspace gates are officially obsolete. Good, because we're about to need every advantage we can get. The collective's observers arrive in 48 hours. Maya's screens filled with new data as Alina shared intelligence from the quantum infiltration network. The collective wasn't just planning to observe. They intended to systematically dismantle humanity's technological independence. They're particularly interested in our neural interface technology, Elena continued. Apparently, we've developed it in ways they considered theoretically impossible. They want to understand how. They won't find anything, Maya assured her. The public research facilities are already running convincing simulations of approved technology levels. Let them waste time studying our decoys. The real breakthroughs were happening far beyond the collective sight. Deep beneath Europa's ice, quantum computers merged with human consciousness in ways that defied conventional physics. The neural interfaces weren't just tools, they were gateways to understanding reality itself. Maya moved through the facility's lower levels, where the true scope of human advancement was hidden. Prototype ships waited in vast underwater hangars, their organic-looking hulls incorporating technologies that the collective would consider heretical. They had built their empire on rigid hierarchies of knowledge, never imagining that a primitive species might find entirely new paths to the same destinations. Collective ships entering the Sol system, the facility's AI announced. Estimated time to Jupiter orbit, 6 hours. Maya accessed the quantum network, connecting with research teams across human space. Similar facilities on Mars, Titan, and a dozen exoplanets reported ready status. The collective would find exactly what they expected: a chastened species working within approved technological boundaries. Meanwhile, humanity's real work would continue in the shadows. The quantum slip drives were just the beginning. Maya's team had discovered principles of physics that the collective had missed in their arrogance, ways of working with the universe rather than trying to dominate it. Initialize the next phase of Project Phoenix, she ordered. Throughout the facility, new systems came online. The quantum computers began their calculations, mapping paths through reality that the collective's rigid thinking couldn't comprehend. On her primary display, Maya watched the collective's inspection fleet approach. Their ships were impressive, certainly, massive crystalline structures that proclaimed their makers' mastery of space and time. But they were also limited by their own assumptions about what was possible. They think technology is about power, she mused, remembering her grandmother's lessons about human history. They never understood that true advancement comes from necessity and adaptation. The quantum network pinged again. Commander Santos had authorized the activation of humanity's hidden fleet. Across the solar system, ships equipped with the new slip drives moved into position, invisible to conventional sensors. They wouldn't attack, not yet. For now, they would watch and wait, gathering intelligence while the collective's observers wasted time studying carefully crafted decoys. Maya's neural interface synchronized with the facility's quantum core, giving her a momentary glimpse of possibilities branching through space-time. The collective saw reality as something to be conquered and controlled. Humanity had learned to see it as a dance partner, full of patterns and rhythms that could be understood and joined. The observers have begun their approach to Earth, her assistant reported. They're broadcasting demands for full access to all research facilities. Let them come, Maya replied, initiating the final stages of Protocol Shadowfall. They'll find exactly what they expect to find, and nothing of what we've actually become. The quantum processors hummed, their calculations reaching across space and time. In hidden facilities throughout human territory, thousands of scientists and engineers continued their work, pushing the boundaries of what the collective believed possible. They had forced humanity into the shadows, never realizing that darkness was where the most interesting discoveries were made. The age of pretending to be less than they were was ending. Soon, the collective would learn that their carefully maintained hierarchy of species had overlooked something fundamental: the incredible capacity of life to adapt, to evolve, and to overcome. Admiral James Chen watched from the bridge of the TNS Defiant as the collective's inspection fleet approached Europa Station. Their crystalline ships moved with absolute confidence, certain of their technological superiority. They had no idea they were about to witness the end of their dominion. Collective flagship is broadcasting demands, his tactical officer reported. They're insisting on immediate access to all research levels. They claim to have detected unauthorized energy signatures. James allowed himself a small smile. They had detected exactly what humanity wanted them to detect. Echoes of the quantum shadow field, carefully calibrated to draw their attention. The real facility was already gone, shifted slightly out of phase with normal spacetime. "Send the prepared response," he ordered. "Full compliance with all authorized inspections." The message had barely been transmitted when the collective fleet's energy signatures shifted. Their weapons were powering up, though they hadn't deployed them yet. They expected submission, not resistance. "Multiple quantum signatures detected," the sensor officer announced. "Sir, they're bringing in reinforcements through their hyperspace gates. At least 30 capital ships." James opened a secure channel to Commander Santos, who was coordinating the overall response from Titan Base. "They're not here just to inspect. This is an occupation force." "Agreed." Elena's voice came through his neural link. "They found something in the data they stole from us. Something that frightened them enough to abandon pretense." The collective flagship's next transmission confirmed their suspicions. "Species 2749C, you have violated multiple protocols regarding restricted technologies. Your facilities will be immediately transferred to collective control. Resistance will be met with appropriate force." James watched the tactical display as more collective ships emerged from their hyperspace gates. They were arranging themselves in a standard containment pattern, one that had probably worked against countless other species they had suppressed. "All ships," he subvocalized through the quantum network. "Execute Protocol Lazarus." Across the solar system, humanity's hidden fleet emerged from quantum shadow. Not the outdated ships the collective had been tracking, but vessels that represented the true extent of human innovation. Their organic crystalline hulls seemed to flow like liquid metal, powered by technologies that merged quantum mechanics with biological principles. The collective fleet's response was immediate. Energy weapons powered up, targeting systems locked on, and demands for surrender flooded all communication channels. They still thought they held the advantage. "Sir," his tactical officer's voice held a note of satisfaction. "The quantum slip drives are synchronized. All ships report ready for parallel space engagement." James opened a channel to the collective flagship. "This is Admiral James Chen of the Terran Defense Force. We have monitored your exploitation of developing species for decades. We have witnessed your suppression of innovation and your manipulation of civilizations. Today that ends." The collective commander's response crackled with artificial harmonics. "Your species continues to demonstrate its primitive nature. You will submit to authority or be eliminated." "Interesting choice of words," James replied. "But I don't think you understand what you're facing. Allow us to demonstrate." He gave the command, and humanity's fleet executed their first synchronized quantum slip. To the collective sensors, it would appear as if the human ships had simply ceased to exist. Their most advanced detection systems would show nothing, because they were looking for the wrong things in the wrong ways. The human fleet reappeared behind the collective formation, having bypassed their supposedly impenetrable shields completely. Before they could react, precisely targeted quantum pulses disabled their primary systems, not destroying them. Humanity had learned a different lesson from history. What is this technology?" the collective commander demanded, their artificial harmonics distorting with what might have been fear. "Something you could have shared in, if you had chosen cooperation over dominion," James replied. "Instead, you forced us to develop it in secret, to find paths through reality that your rigid thinking couldn't imagine." More collective ships were arriving through their hyperspace gates, but they were already too late. The quantum network was alive with signals as other suppressed species, watching through their own hidden channels, saw the mighty collective fleet effectively neutralized by technology they had dismissed as impossible. "This is your only warning," James broadcast on all frequencies. "Humanity will no longer accept your artificial limitations. We have surpassed them, and we will help others do the same." The quantum network lit up with new signatures. Across collective space, other species were beginning to rise. The Centaurians, the Proxima Alliance, the Rigel Confederation. All had been watching, waiting for proof that the collective could be challenged. "You risked the stability of the galaxy," the collective commander accused. "Our hierarchy maintains order." "No," James corrected. "Your hierarchy maintains control. Order emerges from understanding, cooperation, and mutual respect. Something you could have offered freely but chose to withhold." The human fleet moved with perfect coordination, their quantum slip drives allowing them to appear and disappear at will. Each demonstration further eroded the collective's claimed technological superiority. "Your choices are simple," James continued. "Adapt to a new reality where knowledge is shared, not hoarded, or watch your empire of secrets crumble. We're not seeking to destroy you. We're offering you the chance to evolve." Through his neural interface, James could sense the quantum ripples of change spreading across space. The collective's carefully maintained hierarchy was facing its greatest challenge not from weapons of war, but from the very innovation they had tried to suppress. The revolution had begun, not with destruction, but with revelation. Humanity had done more than develop new technology. They had shown that the collective's fundamental assumptions about reality itself were limited by their own rigid thinking. The age of artificial limitations was ending. The age of shared innovation was about to begin. The Arcturus Gateway hung in space like a crystalline spiderweb, its ancient structure representing the collective's iron grip on interstellar travel. Dr. Yuki Tanaka observed it from the bridge of the TNS Ascended, her quantum neural interface processing vast amounts of data about the structure's composition and operation. "The collective has committed 40% of their remaining fleet to defend this position," her AI assistant reported. "They understand its strategic value." Yuki nodded, watching as ships from a dozen formerly suppressed species gathered at the rendezvous point. The Proxima Alliance had brought their phase-shifted cruisers, finally free to reveal their own hidden advancements. The Centaurians contributed vessels that seemed to bend light itself around them. Each species had developed in secret, waiting for the moment to challenge the collective's dominance. "They still don't understand what's happening," she mused. "They think this is about controlling the gateway." Her neural interface pinged with an incoming transmission from the Rigel Confederation's flagship. Ambassador Zara, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline matrix, appeared in her mind's eye. "The Collective Council has issued new demands," Zara reported, her energy form flickering with what Yuki had learned to recognize as amusement. "They're offering to forgive our transgressions if we submit to direct oversight of all technological development." "They're desperate," Yuki replied. Their entire system of control was based on maintaining technological superiority. Without that, their empire begins to crumble, Zara finished. "But they're not finished yet. Our intelligence suggests they're preparing to deploy weapons they've kept hidden for millennia. Technologies they claimed were too dangerous to exist." Yuki's quantum processors analyzed the data Zara shared. The collective's secret weapons were impressive, certainly, but they were still based on the same fundamental misunderstanding of reality that had limited their development for so long. "Let them come," she said. "It's time they learned what true innovation looks like." The battle for the Arcturus Gateway began with a display of force meant to cow the rebellious species into submission. The collective's hidden fleet emerged from hyperspace, their ships bristling with weapons that distorted the fabric of space-time itself. "Attention rebel forces," the collective commander's transmission boomed across all frequencies. "You face technologies beyond your comprehension. Surrender now or be destroyed." Yuki opened a channel to all allied ships. "Remember the plan. Don't fight their way. Fight ours." The gathered fleet of former subject species responded with a maneuver that would have been impossible just months ago. Quantum slip drives activated in perfect synchronization, guided by neural interfaces that allowed crews to perceive and navigate higher dimensions of spacetime. The collective's super weapons fired, tearing holes in reality. But their targets were already elsewhere, moving through spaces the collective had never learned to perceive. Each species contributed their unique insights, their technologies working in harmony in ways the collective's rigid hierarchy had never imagined possible. Multiple quantum signatures detected, her AI reported. The gateway's structural integrity is beginning to fluctuate. Yuki smiled. The collective thought they were protecting their control over interstellar travel. They didn't realize that humanity and their allies had already developed something far more elegant than the brute force approach of hyperspace gates. All ships, she broadcast, execute Protocol Unity. The Allied fleet moved as one, their combined technologies creating a quantum resonance that the collective had never thought possible. The gateway's crystalline structure began to vibrate in sympathy, its fundamental patterns revealing secrets its creators had buried millennia ago. Impossible. The collective commander's transmission was filled with genuine fear now. These technologies cannot coexist. The theoretical modals were wrong. Yuki interrupted. You assumed that different approaches to manipulating reality would conflict with each other. You never considered that they might harmonize instead. The gateway's structure was transforming, its ancient patterns responding to frequencies that the collective had never thought to use. It wasn't being destroyed, it was being reborn. Through her quantum interface, Yuki could sense the ripples of change spreading across space. Other gateways throughout collective territory were resonating with the same frequencies, their control systems responding to the new harmony of unified technologies. The gateway network is realigning, her eye confirmed. Control protocols are being rewritten at the quantum level. The collective's secret weapons fell silent, their fundamental principles disrupted by the new patterns emerging in spacetime. They had built their power on controlling access to the stars, and now that control was slipping away. To all species watching this broadcast, Yuki transmitted on all frequencies, the gateways are being transformed. No longer will they serve as barriers and checkpoints. They're becoming what they should have been from the beginning. Bridges between stars, open to all who wish to explore them responsibly. The collective fleet hung motionless in space, their mighty weapons useless against an enemy that fought not with destruction, but with transformation. They had prepared for rebellion, for warfare, for chaos, but not for harmony. Yuki watched as the gateway completed its metamorphosis, its crystalline structure now pulsing with combined energy of a dozen different technological approaches working in concert. The age of artificial divisions was ending. The age of unified discovery was about to begin. The collective's capital world of Illuminaris shimmered like a jewel in space, its crystalline cities reflecting the light of three suns. Commander Elena Santos stood on the bridge of the TNS Phoenix, watching as ships from over 30 formerly suppressed species moved into position around the planet. The combined fleet represented not just military power, but a fundamental shift in how civilizations could interact. The Collective Council is requesting terms, her communications officer reported. They're different from before, less demanding. Finally learning humility, Elena mused. She opened her neural interface to the quantum network, connecting with the leaders of the allied species. Ambassador Zera's energy form shimmered alongside representatives from the Centaurians, the Proxima Alliance, and dozens of others who had hidden their true potential for generations. They believe we've come to destroy them, Zara observed, her energy patterns shifting with complex emotions. They cannot imagine any other outcome. Then let's show them something beyond their imagination, Elena replied. She opened a channel to the Collective Council's chamber, where the eldest and supposedly wisest of their civilization waited to learn their fate. The council chamber materialized in her quantum-enhanced vision, its ancient architecture a testament to power that had remained unchallenged for millennia. Until now. Speak your terms. The High Elder's voice carried the weight of authority, even now. What price does the collective must pay for its miscalculation? Elena stepped forward, her image projected into their chamber with perfect clarity. You believe we're here for revenge, for punishment. That will simply replace your hierarchy with our own. Is that not the natural order? Another elder asked. The strong replace the weak. Power shifts, but the structure remains. That way of thinking is exactly why we're here, Elena replied. She gestured, and the quantum network activated. Around Illuminaris, the combined fleet began a transformation. Ships from different species merged their technologies, creating displays of cooperation that the collective had long thought impossible. Look closely, Elena commanded. These aren't weapons we're creating. They're bridges, connections, the very things you fought so hard to prevent. The quantum network hummed with energy as Dr. Patel's team activated the final phase of Project Phoenix. The space around Illuminaris shimmered as new patterns of reality became visible, patterns that the collective had never thought to look for. Your greatest fear, Elena continued, was that different species, different technologies, different approaches to understanding reality would create chaos. That only through rigid control could civilization advance. She paused, letting them witness as the combined fleet demonstrated the true power of cooperative development. Ships phased in and out of normal space, their technologies working in harmony to create effects that no single species could have achieved alone. But chaos and disorder aren't the only alternatives to control, she explained. There's another way, a harmony that emerges when different perspectives are allowed to complement each other rather than compete. The High Elder's crystalline form shifted, reflecting new frequencies of light. You wish to share knowledge. After all we did to suppress you. Knowledge isn't meant to be hoarded, Elena replied. Innovation doesn't thrive in darkness. True advancement comes from the exchange of ideas, from the collision of different perspectives. Through the quantum network, she could sense the ripples of change spreading across collective space. On thousands of worlds, species that had been kept separate by artificial barriers were beginning to reach out to each other. We're not here to destroy the collective, Elena declared. We're here to transform it. To replace your hierarchy of control with a network of cooperation. She transmitted the proposal that humanity and their allies had developed. The Galactic Concordat, a new framework for civilization based on shared knowledge and mutual respect. Not anarchy, but a carefully designed system that would allow different species to develop along their own paths while contributing to the greater whole. The choice is yours, Elena told the council. You can cling to your old power and force us to dismantle it piece by piece, or you can join us in building something greater than any single civilization could achieve alone. The council chamber fell silent as the elders absorbed the implications. Around Illuminaris, the combined fleet continued their display of unified technology, showing possibilities that the collective had never dreamed of. And if we refuse? The High Elder asked, more curious than defiant now. Then you'll watch as the galaxy evolves beyond you. Elena replied simply. The age of artificial barriers is over. The knowledge you tried to suppress has already spread too far to be contained. Through her neural interface, Elena could sense the quantum ripples of change spreading across space. The collective's carefully maintained hierarchy was dissolving not through force, but through the simple recognition that cooperation was more powerful than control. The stars are not meant to be rationed, she concluded. They're meant to be explored, understood, shared. We offer you the chance to be part of that journey, not as masters, but as equals. The High Elder's crystalline form shifted through complex patterns of light, consulting with the others through their own neural network. Finally, they reached a decision that would reshape the galaxy. Perhaps, the Elder said, it is time for the collective to learn some new patterns. As the sun rose over Illuminaris, casting rainbow lights through its crystal spires, the first steps toward a new era began. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly what humanity had been fighting for all along.